Hello, guys. That was a weird hello. Welcome back to Filter Coffee Football. Talking about the second round of the round of 16 fixtures. Four incredible matches again. Only one possibly done and dusted result. So, a lot more to talk about this time around. Let's start off with the one that kind of seems done and dusted. Lille nil, Chelsea 2. Lukaku did not start this match.
The
And
other way, actually, it's Chelsea to
Oh,
Lille.
sorry, yeah,
So
because Chelsea finished second in their group.
yeah,
But yeah, Lukaku did not start in this match, and Havertz scores. Pulisic been struggling for form; he scores. Did you watch? Like, what was your take on the
yeah.
match, on the
I
performance?
think Havertz has something special for the Champions League. He just turns up. They seem to be more fluid this game, and I guess Lille are not as much of a Premier League opposition. They were holding back a bit. They weren't attacking as much as I thought they would. Maybe they wanted to enforce their style later on in the game, but that later on never came. And Chelsea, after the first goal, I thought they were just cruising,
Yeah,
apart from a few slip ups.
yeah. On paper, this game seemed kind of neck and neck, but it didn't really seem like Lille forced their issue a whole lot. Only two shots
True.
on target, even though they outshot Chelsea. Very speculative efforts for the most part on Lille's part. So Chelsea's defense really did their job well, and with two goals to the good, and no, I mean away goals don't count anyway. But with two goals to the good, it really puts you in a much more comfortable position traveling to France for the second leg. So I mean, this one is, I guess, done and dusted. You called this one, so I'll give you the point on that.
Mhm.
But moving on to the second fixture of the day, Villarreal 1, Juventus 1. I mean, we have to start with the biggest man in the room, right? Uh, a little over 30 seconds in, gets his first goal in the Champions League. Fastest goal by any player to have started in the Champions League match on his debut. So, incredible achievement. What a way to announce himself.
Right.
But Villarreal got their goal back, and the rest of the match kind of just it felt kind of like a slugfest. Did you happen to catch anything? What
Yeah,
was?
I think Vlahovic was nice for till the time he was getting the ball. I think he needs to work a bit more on his off the ball movement. But I mean, he's still learning. He's just got into this side. And I'm certain that they're just going to feed him a lot more now that they're seeing what he can do. That half turn to score. I mean, that is how a striker should be, right? The awareness to know where the goal is and taking that shot without even looking up. That's what you really want from a striker. And Vlahovic maybe is starting to show that potential again. What I really found odd in this game was Juventus defense started sleeping somewhere after 50 minutes or so. The goal by Parejo, I mean, how do you like just float inside the box and there's no defender around you? And the ball floats in and Parejo has an open goal. I mean, yeah, Chesney was there, but again, it's an easy picking. It's a very easy picking for someone who's outsmarted the defense and he's clean through on goal.
Yeah, it was definitely not the most vintage Juventus performance. I guess you can say that Allegri is trying to go back to the defense first roots, because this game was definitely Juventus doing a lot of defending. Villarreal had the bulk of possession, and again, even though it was a home match for Villarreal against an opposition like Juventus, you expect Juventus to be on the front foot. You expect
True.
Juventus to have more of the ball in there, but this very much seems like a more old school approach that Allegri is going for. Very defense first approach. He actually even went to like a pseudo three at the back after they scored their first goal, with the defense falling back and one of the midfield players dipping in a little bit more as well, which was kind of fascinating. I don't know whether managers have not adjusted to the fact that there are no away goals this time around in the Champions League. So just because you go one goal up in an away match
Still
doesn't
late.
mean
Yeah.
as much as it meant last season or before that. So I don't know whether that's still kind of playing in their minds somewhere. Um,
I also think that maybe Allegri is going to boot out Rabiot after the end of this season. It does seem that his patience is wearing thin, and I think now with Locatelli coming in, then who do you have? You also have Zakaria
I mean,
now.
Arthur is also getting more
Even
game
Arthur,
time over the last
yeah,
few games, which is kind of interesting to see. And of course, they have,
and McKinney.
yeah, of course, they have
So
Weston McKennie in there as well, who did go off injured. So hopefully he's doing okay, and it's nothing serious to necessarily worry about in there.
sorry, continue.
But no, I was just going to say, like, Villarreal will go to Turin with some confidence given their performance today. They didn't have Gerard Moreno, so that was they were essentially playing without an out and out striker in this match, and still managed to grab a goal, which is should boost their confidence. Hopefully, they will have Moreno back come that second leg, so they will feel a little bit confident going into that second fixture. Again, no away goals means Juventus do have to score if they want to go through. Home advantage still, the crowd will be at their back. So this promises to be a really interesting match, and this
I think
promises
so too.
to show us what Unai Emery is really capable of at the highest level. So let's see how that goes. Moving on to a shocking result in my opinion. Benfica 2, Ajax 2. I did not see this result coming at all. I mean, we both talked about it. We were like, oh, Ajax were definitely going to smoke Benfica given the form that they were in. I think they've only conceded like 4 or 5 goals in the league
Yep,
at this point, Ajax, and then they shipped two goals today, fairly clumsy goals as well.
true.
Yeah, funny thing in those 2 goals was the first goal that Benfica scored was a Vertonghen cross into the box that
And an own goal.
that Seb Haller ended up scoring an own goal. And the second goal that Ajax scored was a cross that came into the box, which Vertonghen touched into the keeper that rebounded to Haller,
Yeah.
and then Haller scored. So they kind of assisted each other in scoring at the wrong ends for both their goals. But yeah, what is your takeaway on this one? This was really
I
fascinating.
thought Haller was smart with his movements. He caused a lot of trouble to the Benfica defense. For a tall guy, I think he seems to move quite well. He didn't have that much of a success in the Premier League, which is why he went away. But I think Ajax is his calling. And I really loved that third kit. That third kit is something to watch.
Yep.
As an Arsenal fan, I was also looking out for Ryan Gravenberch. Had a decent enough game. When are we trying to snap him off is my question. But it's Ajax and you never know how that's going to work out.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot more closer than I imagined. But Ajax did have the lion's share of the chances. They really
Yep.
did dominate. I mean, Benfica came up to them, and honestly, we have to show them some respect, correct? Because they progressed. And again, I know this is a really struggling Barcelona side, but they progressed in a group which had Barcelona in it, and they managed to come second in that group, which is a huge achievement for Benfica. And of course, the other team in the group was Bayern Munich, so they were never going to come first in that group. So this is definitely not a bad team by any means, but again, going back to Amsterdam, I'm pretty confident that Ajax will show up. I think this was goal number 11 for Seb Haller this season. If he has a really ridiculous game and they progress into, maybe even if they progress as far as the quarterfinals, Seb Haller might be in with a shout for the UCL top goal scorer. And if they go even further, he might have a shot at breaking Cristiano Ronaldo's record of, I think, 16 goals. Was it?
14, I guess. I guess 14, I'm not sure.
He does have an outsider. Now, the only thing that's standing in between him and that record is probably that Ajax are still not the best team in the league, which is
So,
incredible that he scored that many goals despite that. So, yeah, this will be interesting to see him play going forward as well.
nice segue that you've got there with Cristiano Ronaldo, because that's the next team that you're going to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, for most people, and I agree, he is probably the biggest reason why United find themselves in the position that they are in the round of 16 of the Champions League. I mean, I think five goals that he scored in the group stages, but absolutely pivotal goals, every single one of them. Didn't manage to hit the net against one of his favorite oppositions this time around. But they still did manage to scrap a goal. I mean, Anthony Elanga, good lord, that kid is getting all sorts of headlines. Saving their skin against Leeds earlier in the week, and now coming up with the goods against Atletico Madrid. This was a scrappy game, though. This was a really bad game
Definitely.
to watch.
Everything was just yellow cards. I mean, every other second you'd see a foul and the ref would go over and he's fumbling with getting the right card out, and then I am thinking, okay, I know you're way too eager to produce a card, but hold on for a minute. But as the second half grew on, I thought the fouls were becoming more cynical, and those definitely did deserve yellows. I also feel that Atletico would be ruining their chances because they had the better opportunities of the two sides, and they can claim to be unlucky because they hit the crossbar and the pole, but that's no excuse for not finishing well. I would say if you create as many chances, you have to bury some of those, not just one.
Yeah, exactly. Especially at this level in the competition, they had an incredible first half. They probably should have been at least 2 goals to the good at the end of that first half, and
True.
they kind of let they kind of let United in with the chance of going to that second half. That shot by Anthony Elanga, I mean, great movement by him, really got his pace in, but I honestly feel like a keeper of Oblak's level should have done better in that situation. He was completely wrong-footed, which I feel you kind of, as
He
a
never
goalkeeper,
expected.
yeah, exactly. Which, as in his position, I guess if he was, and I think this is just us holding him to a higher standard, but he's having a miserable season this year.
True.
The fact that he didn't make himself big enough to the point where the far post was so easy to achieve for Elanga kind of sticks out to me. Uh, Take nothing away from the finish, but I do feel like, I mean, that's a save that De Gea makes in his sleep, especially because he
Definitely.
loves using his feet in those situations. So I do feel like Oblak could have done better on that save. And outside of that, I mean, United didn't really create a whole lot. So yeah, you're right. Atletico really should be ruining their chances, but
But talking about finishes, that finish was RVPS. Joao Felix
oh
did an
wow, yeah.
RVPS finish. I I mean I forgot to mention that earlier, but
I mean,
that
that
was
ball in by
sublime
Brendan
movement.
Lodi was in and alone amazing, absolutely unstoppable. I
I'll
mean,
tell you what. I mean, he gets linked with Arsenal, and the next day he scores a goal against United. Come on, sign him up.
I
Sign
just
him
hope,
up.
yeah, I just hope they don't rank his price up by so much. But he's again had a fabulous couple. I think that's 4 goal contributions in 4 games from him now, going
True.
into after this match. So he's actually starting to hit a bit of a purple patch, which Atletico desperately need because they aren't doing that great either. Like they're kind of struggling for form and results themselves. So three out of the 4 matches are on knife's edge. So let's kind of go through our predictions. Let's start with Juventus versus Villarreal. Where do you see this one ending?
I'm assuming Juventus remember that they can't sleep off after 60, and it's a home game, so they might edge through a win, a conservative 1-0. What's
Yeah,
up
that
with
makes
you?
sense. I think Juve have this one. It's going to be close. It's going to be really gritty, but it's going to be a 1 goal margin. I don't know whether Villarreal might score a goal or not, but it's definitely going to be a 1 goal margin. I feel that Juve will go through by. Moving on to, let's brush over Lille versus Chelsea. I think this might be a little bit tougher. Lille might actually end up coming out winners 1-0, but Chelsea will still probably go through on aggregate. How about you?
Tuchel is smart enough to see a game off like this. I don't think he's even going to think as much. The only problem would be if they concede quite early, which gives Lille a chance in the game.
Moving on to Ajax versus Benfica. Um, I see Ajax really kind of upping their game this time around, really finishing the chances that they didn't finish in the first leg, and probably I'm looking at like a 2 or 3 goal victory over here. Benfica might still squeeze a goal in, but I don't see that happening.
I am with you on this one. I'm definitely thinking that Ajax will go through, and I want that team to go through. I see a lot of upcoming talent, and that's what you're here for, right? You want to see nice talent come up through the ranks of the system and play at the highest level. So I think Ajax. I personally feel Ajax will go through.
Nice. And then the big one, Manchester United versus Atletico Madrid. This is a spicy one. I honestly cannot call this one, so I don't know. If you guys have an opinion, please put it down. Who do you think is going to go through, United or Atletico? Karthik, do you have any
I'm not
thoughts
gonna
on this
jinx
one?
it. I'm not going to jinx it. I'm not. I'm not saying it, but you know who I'd want to go through. Like heart and heart, you know who I want to go through.
Alrighty,
I
well
couldn't
that
care less about the other team.
Oh, well, that was us talking about the second round of the round is the second leg round of fixtures of the round of 16. Let us know who you think is going to go through. Let us know who you feel is going to have a really miserable showing second time around. And yeah, join us for us talking about the next match, which is probably going to be Arsenal versus Wolves. And check out the other videos on our channel. As always, like, share, subscribe, and thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day. Bye.
See ya.